Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out today. I'm going to bow out very gracefully because this isn't my day, this is their day. Apart from honouring these guys, which I feel I'm incapable of doing, we want to honour so our other friends and other veterans like Colonel Smith, and just let them have their moment as well. But I can't tell you how nervous I am today and how lost for words I am, and anyone that knows me knows that's a really rare occurrence, so savour it. But thank you so much, everyone. Colonel Thorness, thank you so much for entrusting us with the care of those things. We will look after them, I promise you. And thanks again, everyone.
Good job, thank you, sir. Great, sir.
We accept, on the behalf of the Heritage Collection Museum, your award, and we thank you for your service.
And you too, sir. I appreciate that. And you're the first drill man I met. You're an interesting guy. So I appreciate your service also. Yeah.
Well, as you know, we're here for Purple Hearts Reunited. Purple Hearts Reunited is a nonprofit founded by Captain Zach Fike. He's an active duty officer. He's unable to make it down here because he's actually doing weapons maneuvering this weekend up in Vermont. So he's up there shooting guns and he could not get out to come down here. So I'm his representative and it's a real honor to be here. And of course, even more because we are attended by 3 Medal of Honor recipients. We have Spec 4, Mike Fitzmaurice. If you raise your hand. Medal of Honor Vietnam, Colonel Bob Majeski. United States Marine Corps, and of course our Colonel Leo Thorsness. United States Marine Corps. The Purple Heart. Who here has a Purple Heart besides the Colonel? How many? 3, 4. The Purple Heart, 5. The Purple Heart was actually started back when George Washington created the Badge of Military Merit. It was kind of like a combination of the Medal of Honor and a Purple Heart. 3 of them were awarded to young men, enlisted men, up in Connecticut. We don't know how many actually were awarded after that because the records were lost or destroyed, so it was kind of hard to tell. But we know that those 3 individuals were the first ones to receive it. Of course, George Washington came up with the idea. Who do you think actually made the stitching on this purple sash? Hey, you're cheating. You're cheating. You're a Purple Heart guy. Who?
Betsy Ross.
Betsy Ross?
Martha.
Martha, exactly, right? Because behind every great man,
there's a woman.
all right, so there's a great woman. Of course, Martha Washington actually did the stitch of merit across the Purple Heart, or the purple sash, that these men wore. This entitled them to go into any camp to have salutes rendered by officers for these men. It's kind of a neat tradition and something for these gentlemen that kind of went away for about 100 years. And then in 1932, General Douglas MacArthur, we all know General MacArthur, he was a World War I vet and also had been wounded. And he said that America needs to recognize the men who have given their blood, sweat, and the ultimate sacrifice, the Purple Heart. He came up with the idea, he pushed it through Congress, and the medal that we have today with General George Washington on it is what came up and was born from that. It was actually given out, the first one, on February 22nd, 1932. Anyone know why that's important?
100th anniversary of General George Washington.
Man. So I'll give you $5 later. Slide down.
All right.
So that's right. So they enacted it on February 22nd, 1932. That was a 200th anniversary of General Washington's birthday. And since then, how many? Anyone venture a guess? Where's that little girl that was running around here?
Right.
Hey, little boy here. How many Purple Hearts do you think have been issued? No, you're not allowed. You guys aren't allowed to tell. Since 1932, how many Purple Hearts do you think have been issued? Give me a number. 26? No, more than that. Give me a big number. 50? Anybody else?
5,000.
More. How many?
20.
Try 1.8 million.
Yeah, wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and sacrifice, ultimate sacrifice. So how many parents do we have in here? All right, and have kids. Do we have any Gold Star parents in here? All right, because I apologize for going down this road, but for everybody else, I want you to just vision back 1944. Your only son goes off to war. And as he goes out and he leaves, 2 months later, you get a knock at the door. And it's not the chaplain. It's not the chaplain or an officer dressed in uniform. Who do you think it is? Postman. Postman comes up and he brings you a telegram. And that telegram, when you open it up, says that your son just died and died in battle. You're giving me goosebumps thinking about this. So you're going through all of the tragedy and the loss of your child. And about following 30, 60 days after that, you get another package in the mail from the United States government. And in that package is a blue box. And when you open up the blue box, there is the Purple Heart, like I'm wearing on my shirt. And on the back of the Purple Heart is your son's name inscribed on the back. That has now become the last tangible item that represents your child. So you can understand how the transference becomes that object was the last thing of his ultimate sacrifice that led to his death. And that becomes such a valuable part of your life. Now, I call it life. I call, things happen in life. Let's just say, how many married guys in here? How many of you have lost your wedding ring? How many of you want to care to admit you lost your wedding ring and 3 days later you found it on the workbench when you were working on your tank and saved your life that your wife didn't kill you? But things happen, right? Stuff gets lost. Right now, currently, we get 3 to 5 of these medals a week. And we have 400 medals that are waiting to go to a home. What we do is we research, we find the heirs and descendants of these medals, and we return it back to them. If they don't have any descendants, then we give it to a public place, a museum, place where his memory, like I told you earlier, his memory can be, remembered and perpetuated forever. That is one of those things that is our mission in life. Today we're honored, actually, to have 2 things happen. Colonel Dorsey Page, who passed away, he was a Marine fighter pilot. All right, from a Marine to hoorah. So he's a Marine fighter pilot with 400 missions in Vietnam from 1955, retired in 1985. 30 years of service. Passed away with no descendants. Somebody had gotten a hold of his medals and certificates, and they posted them on eBay. And we were able to talk this seller into doing the right thing and just giving us the stuff so that we could present it here. Believe it or not, a Purple Heart gets traded like baseball cards on eBay. Somebody's sacrifice in their life has a monetary value, and it's to us it's sickening, but it happens. And our goal and our mission is to rescue those, and that's what we've done today. The incredible thing is not only do we have Colonel Page's medals, but in a box that just showed up one day was the Medal of Honor. I have the honor, distinct honor, of working with Medal of Honor recipients. I've been doing it for about 7, almost 8 years. Well, 06 was my first year at Skyball. And I've worked with these gentlemen for an inordinate amount of time as we have the Skyball and the months leading up to it. And you talk about ordinary men who have accomplished extraordinary things in life. And they represent everything that is good and virtuous of all of us. And it's a real honor, and that's why we hold that medal up, to the esteem that we have it. And I'll tell you this now, each one of you have a greater chance of winning the lotto than meeting not 1, but 3 in this room. So you better go buy a lotto ticket when you get out of here, because you've got a greater chance of winning the lotto than ever coming across a living. Only 78 out of the 3,000 that have ever been issued.
3,500.
3,500 that have been issued, we only have 78 living recipients. And out of those 78, we maybe have 40 that travel a lot. They're just, some of them are not as able to get around as much. So when I got this medal, I called Lieutenant Colonel Hal Fritz, who was president of the society at the time. Actually, I think the first call was to Leo. Hey, Leo, I've got this Medal of Honor, and it's blank on the back. Does your Medal of Honor have a serial number on it, or is there some identifying mark on it? And so he was looking at it. He was sending me pictures. I sent pictures. Got me in touch with Tom Catone, who is a FBI agent. He does the Soul and Valor stuff and actually led the charge against fraudulent Medals of Honor. And we figured out that this Medal of Honor that we have is an original, unissued, unauthorized Medal of Honor. The guy that had the duty, the contract from the government, was given the dies. He minted them, and when he got done, he minted 300, estimated 300 extra Medals of Honor, and he's traded those out on the black market.
Was that all medals or just one specific?
I understand it was 300 because they measured the amount of the silk for the neck.
Yeah,
So-
but what was it? Just like one?
Air Force or all three medals?
Oh, all three medals is what I understand. 300 total is what it was, is what Tom was telling me up in Boston. And he said that when he did the investigation, the guy that minted it, the reason they knew that was they measured out how long the length of the silk is that goes around the neck, and there's only one company that produces that. So based off the amount of silk that guy ordered was how many you could chop up and make. So 300. And it could have been of different branches, but these medals are, of course, if you know anything about Medal of Honor, it's illegal to buy it, sell it, trade it, any of that. You'll go to jail. You will go to jail. So this box shows up with a note saying, this belongs to your organization, thank you very much. No name, no nothing. And on behalf of the Medal of Honor Society, they said that if we put for display only, we could display it in the museum. Because I think all kids ought to have the story. Now, it's not enough to have just a medal. You need to attach that medal to somebody. So when I called Leo and I said, sir, I really would be honored if we could do this at the museum. Mark Whittam and his crew want to build a MIA, POW, Medal of Honor section. Would you be willing to do that? And he stepped right up and said, yes, I would. And I go, great, can you send me a picture of your rack? And he goes, I'll do one better than that. I'll just mail you my uniforms. So he sends me his dress blue uniform and his flight suit and a bunch of memorabilia. And that is how we ended up with this today. And I can tell you that we'll have more of this later because somebody is going to send us another one of these Medals of Honor. And the next one I get, being a Marine, the colonel here is going to be immortalized in our museum. Hopefully he'll allow me to do the honors. And then when I get Army, I'm going to get Mike. So I want to present on behalf of Mark Whittam and the museum, Colonel Modjeski, if you wouldn't mind giving the Colonel Dorsey Page's medals, his Purple Heart and Legion of Merit, to the museum on behalf of the Marine Corps and the Marine Metroplex Coordinating Council.
If I knew I was going to have to make this presentation this afternoon, I would have gotten a haircut. Please bear with me. But I would like to say on behalf of the Marine Corps, it's my honor to make this presentation of Colonel Dorsey's medals to the museum. So having said that, it's a great honor to meet you.
And on behalf of the museum, the Colonel's already said thank you to Colonel Leo Thorsness. Thank you so much, sir, for your willingness to participate. And I want to thank everybody here for attending today. If you have any questions.
Well, first thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I've been kind of hogging Colonel Thorns and the other guys. I guess I can't be greedy. Give you the opportunity to say hi. We have some refreshments. Please make yourself at home. Make yourself comfortable. And thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate the support.
Colonel, would like to say something?
Yeah, I want to mention Mike and Bob. Mike is Army, Bob's Marine, and there are 3 medals of honor. The rules to receive them, the requirements are identical. The only difference is the Navy, which is Marines, was first designed and signed by Abe Lincoln in 1861, right, Bob?
Yes. I got mine with you. This is the way the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard one looks.
He's carrying it in his pocket.
I didn't want to steal Leo's thunder, so that's why I kept it in my pocket.
So, Mike, do you have yours with you? We'll just pretend you have one on, Mike. But anyway, this was the very first Medal of Honor designed and signed into law by Abe Lincoln, 1861. Army came along, Mike's service came along 6 months later, I think it was 1862 by now, Abe Lincoln signed that. And then it looks more like this one, I guess, than that, but they're all Medals of Honor of identical stature. But then 100 years later or so, the Air Force got around to it. Of course, there were no airplanes for a while, and so then the Air Force had their design. And the only difference is this one is about twice as big as theirs. This stuff. And we have a light on ours, and I'll turn it on. I got 5 batteries up. I guess the batteries are turned off. Those guys, when they see another Air Force, they come, oh, can you hold yours up? And they're so jealous. we have a good time with that. But anyway, they're the same, and it took us 100 years longer than it took them. And so it's we have a good time amongst us. We know each other well now. We got these eight young Medal of Honor recipients. That was an 8. And the good thing about that, it lowered our average age by about 2 years. This is a phenomenal place. Thank you very much. And it's just it's amazing what you find out here in the country. It was just inside. It's just great. And thank you for doing this. And we're all excited to be here and pleased what you're doing for our country. Thank you.
Sir, I tell you, we got to get a marker because we're going to have you sign on the wall of shame there. Get us all up there.
Get all 3 of them behind you on the wall. Can we get all 3 of them together? All,
Yes,
everybody
that'd be
together?
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
You get it up close. All right, can I get your there we go. Okay.
What about holding the presentation in front of you?
Are you trying to hide my belly?
Yes. Yes.
Not big enough,
Perfect.
Oh, only one. I need 4 grams.
2 other Medal of Honor people. 2 other POWs in Vietnam service.
Thank you.
They were trouble.
You guys want to get up here? Gents, come on up here. Yes. Come on. Please, come on up.
Join us. And I don't remember. Tell me the date you got there. Your chef.
Just squeeze in a little bit.
Squeeze.
31 June 31 May 1965.
65.
Oh my God.
7, 8, almost 8 years. 66.
You guys all come back on the same plane?
No. You're the first group. You're the first group. Yeah, where's everybody else?
Landed about 10 p.m. Minneapolis time when you guys came off the plane.
Anyway, they
Welcome
just,
back.
Phenomenal event. Thank you, Jeff. So thank you again.
Thanks everybody for coming out. Appreciate it.
See the drum you're standing in front of?